Hi, my name is Ben, and together with MP and an amazing team that has helped us out loads over the past 3 and a bit years, we've managed to bring this boat back to life. Every single day we're managing to tick off some big things off our list. We've recently finished installing all the chain plates of the main mast. We've still got to work on the foremast. We've also got the anchor support in place. We've lifted up our anchor yesterday. We're working on the bowsprit over there. There's so much to do and it's so exciting. Today our mission is to check off more things off our list. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you want to follow our journey, and also, most of all, enjoy. The only thing missing on these starboard chain plates is the plugs, which we are going to work on right now. Eighth plug out of 8 of the chain plates that we've installed is now in place. We just need to sand them all and make them look nice. Nico has just finished putting the first layer of pure epoxy resin on the bowsprit before we start adding paint. It gives it this really nice glassy layer and waterproof and rugged resistant layer to the wood before installing any of the metal, stainless steel, what do you call them? The rings and any of the stays as well. If you want to see what epoxy actually does, there's a little pot of epoxy that was left, and it leaves this kind of very glassy but still quite, it's still quite bendy layer over all the wood, and we really like this, so we're installing it before installing any painting any of the coats of paint. If we go inside the boat, MP and Orlando are in their usual office. They are busy installing or changing the settings of the
smart shunt.
Smart shunt. So everything's going to be nicely synchronized. All the measurements are going to be right. All the sensors. Hopefully, we hope so.
One thing that I really want to show you that I'm going to do now is change the settings of this. You know that I connected the smart shunt to my phone through the app, which is super cool, but then I didn't change the settings. So the smart shunt comes with some settings that it's standard for lead acid battery, so I need to change a couple of numbers so it becomes aware of my battery bank and also my lithium battery bank. So it's very quick. I just saw on the battle-borne batteries everything I need to change, how the numbers have to be, and I'm just gonna do that and then we're gonna be good to go. We have 4 batteries of 270, which means we have a battery bank of 1080. The discharge floor is another thing that I have to change, because you know lead acid batteries, you're not supposed to use the whole battery, you should go just up to half and then charge it back up. But lithium batteries, the ones we have, you can go up to 0. You can completely deplete them and they'll still be good to go. So that's why the discharge floor, you can just put a whopping 0. And yeah, that's I think one of the best things about lithium batteries. So 0 is the new setting there. Here, supposed to change this to 105, and the efficiency factor 99%. And now with these new numbers, the smart shunt is actually aware of my battery bank and is going to work properly for my needs. And now the information that I'm going to read on the app is actually going to make sense. So I'm very happy that I got to do this. And now the shunt is good to go.
We're about to move over to the bowsprit and some other things, but there's one hole in the boat that still has to be closed, and that is this beautiful transducer over here, which we're going to put in here right now. All we need to do is pass the wire through, put the transducer in, a bunch of Sikaflex, then this is like we have a closed hull. We would float literally. Okay. Ja, du mal. Ja. I think that's done. It's tight but not too tight, so if the planks swell, it kind of just squeezes the nut and the through hole together. I'm very, very happy with this. The arrow with keel is pointing to the keel, and we also have lots of wire so we can pull it all the way to where we need to. We officially have closed every single hole that we made under the boat, so it should float right now, which we will test very soon, I promise you. 3 things I would like to mention. First thing, we read the manual. This transducer is for between 0 and 10 degree angle of a boat. If you want to start putting it more up the side, there's different ones for that. This one is going to work. Secondly, don't tighten the nut too much because the planks are going to swell, especially under the waterline, and tighten itself, so that's also check. And the third thing, put Sikaflex or sealant inside when you're fastening the nut. I think that's not so that water doesn't get in, but it's mainly so that the nut doesn't unscrew itself. Also check. A little bit of cleaning, and then this hole is officially floating. I think we're gonna have to keep Loic on the team. Look at that finishing over there. Nice. No more holes. Very, very cool stuff. I think this is the first time this boat is ever floating since we lifted it, since we removed that first plank, because even before we drilled the holes of the transducer and the through holes, for example, we never had that last line of caulking done, so it was always going to sink. So now we've got that through hole in, that transducer, we are officially floating, and I think that definitely deserves a beer. Loic was joking about what's the next step, having a beer, but really I think it's worth it. We're gonna have a look in the boat next door for now. I think that would be very, very cool to show you guys. It literally hit a rock, it flipped over. He had to remove everything from the boat, including the engine, absolutely every piece of equipment, and he's rebuilding it. Zeka's in there replacing some frames. He already replaced some planks. They've replaced the, what is it, the bow timber, I don't know what it's called, the bit that goes up through the middle, because that's the bit that hit the rock. So I think it'd be cool to see what Zeka's up to in there and see how they are doing. I mean, it is cool to see inside other boats. It's Saulo, the captain, also working hard on his boat. You can hear Casino here, he's caulking. He's giving us permission to have a look inside. Barco de camarão? Camarão. Shrimp fishing boats. These arms that stick out here in Brazil are shrimp fishing boats. They pull the nets, there's a big pulley over there, and they just pull the nets along and catch a lot of shrimp. Tu sai por quanto tempo tu vai pescar? Cada vez? Hã? 15 dias. 15 dias. E quantas toneladas? 7, 8. 7, 8. So he leaves for like 15 days to go shrimp fishing and comes back with 7 or 8 tons of shrimp. If you ever come to Brazil, try out the shrimp here. It is very tasty. You can go to any restaurant, any beach kiosk, any beach bar, and they will have shrimp. Mwah. Like Forrest Gump catching shrimp.
Bem, tudo novo, velho. Botei tudo dobrado, velho. Tudo. Porque não bater, ela trincou, né, bem? Tá tudo trincado. Aonde elas estão, no sentido, não estão quebradas, rachadas, eu botei uma só pela frente. E onde elas estão rachadas, eu tive que botar 2 para aguentar, né?
Esse barco virou cabeça para baixo? É verdade?
3 vezes já. Ela bateu na pedra, mas ficou lá fora, não encalhou. 50 anos, né?
Ó, agora tá forte, mais 50 anos.
Pô, já. Ainda vai essas peças aqui ainda. Vai essas peças aqui ainda para aguentar, ó. Ó. Aqui ainda vai uma peça aqui no meio, parafusada aqui por baixo, para aguentar, porque eu vou ter que dar um parafuso aqui. Essa também vai aqui. Tá pronta já. Ó, prontinho aqui, ó. Eu faço um furo para eu seguir elas de lá para cá.
Para poder pregar?
Para poder pregar todas elas. Todas elas eu furei. Tem furo, ó. 3 furos, 4 furos, todas elas. De baixo já tá furada. A guia para eu furar de lá para cá em linha reta, para pegar o centro.
Obrigado, Zeca. Boa sorte, bom trabalho. Depois uma Sub-Zero.
Ok, garota. Tudo bem, beleza.
Good on Zeca for working in there. It still smells a lot like an engine room. Lots of diesel, lots of oil. And he said he's cleaned it twice. Anyway, I say we get back to work. I don't know, I think I'm gonna work on the holder for the servo screen for MP. And then, quantos litros de diesel tem aqui? 3,000 liters of diesel. And quantos de água? 2,500 liters of water and 3,000 liters of diesel. Very cool. Obrigado. Ficou legal agora. Ficou bom, né? Very, very cool. So we're just gonna go down and work on our own boat now. Very, very impressed that this boat is still going. The two biggest fixes that were done. One is this entire piece over here that's red. Well, here it's not red, but this entire piece was all smashed because it hit a rock. And this bolina, what they call it here, what is it, side keel? This is also completely redone by Zeca and placed again. So this was torn off, it was like yanked off a bit, and the front bit was completely destroyed, and they still managed to salvage this boat. And you can see where Zeca, when he's putting those sister frames in, he's drilling the holes from the inside out, and then later he just has to nail in from the planks into those frames. Very, very impressive. How cool is this? MP's mum Shashi gave us an amazing little present, and it's still cold. And I wonder if we have any tools to open this on the boat.
A drill?
Do we have a drill on the boat?
A couple.
A couple. Let's do it. Cheers.
Let's do a thumbnail.
This is the halfway stays of the bowsprit, and it looks quite messy, so I'm going to give that a nice little sand. And if we can get all the paint on today, we can already install this onto the bowsprit already. My opinion, this is kind of like, it's quite shiny, you know what I mean? It's going to be hidden by the net, it's going to be on the bowsprit. It was just literally to get all that paint off. What did I use? a flap disc. I always call this a floppy disc. What is this? 80 grit. And I went over with one of these. I don't know what it's called. Very fine. It's kind of like a. It's actually made for a low RPM grinder, but I went over it with my grinder anyway. And then finally, I went over with this last piece over here. It is also made for polishing on a low RPM, but I don't have one, so I just use that. And it is kind of as good as I can get. It's a slight change of plans. We're about to work on a support for the servo screen that looks like this, you know, except we had a nice piece of purple heart cut for it and we cannot find it anywhere. Now I've cut another piece. I wouldn't be amazed if the other one just shows up all of a sudden, you know. Anyway, I'm just gonna start cutting and I'll see what I end up with. Cut the right shape, then do the finishing details. Put you on a time lapse because I want to get this finished so MP in Orlando can continue. And the before looks quite basic, just a purple heart block, beautiful colored purple heart. And the finishing product will also be a beautiful piece of purple heart and hopefully looking like a little servo screen holder. Now I just went up and I got the actual servo screen and I figured out where the wire has to come out. So I've got a little drawing over here. I don't know if you can see. So I'm going to try and chisel or router that out. Also, I'm just going to chisel and router that out. Now I want to have the screen flush with some varnished purple heart. You can also try and have it on top or a little bit sticking out. Either way, I think having it flush will be very, very, very cool, but we'll see if we can do that. Got it ready. This is literally it. I'm not even sure if I'm going to clean out that bit because it's going to be invisible anyway. But rounded edges, you see. Slightly rounded the edges inside as well. Just need to get it sanded so it's nice and purple heartish and then varnished. And I think I might be able to do that today, otherwise I'll do it tomorrow morning.
The other day, to test our bow, the most forward pump that we have, we just put a wire out the window just to see if the connections there with the relay were working. And today we did a nasty job of putting the wires in the official place, going everywhere, room by room, very nicely attached to the rest of the wires across that wall. And then now I just have to cut here the remaining bit, add the terminals, connect to the button, and then that pump will be officially installed. The part of the button is ready. I still cannot test it though because the part of the relay box of the Windlass that we are borrowing the bus bar, that one is not ready, so that's what I'm gonna tackle now so I can finally have this officially installed. Who is it? Who's here? Yay! It's an oven in here. I cannot wait to leave this room. But this is finally ready, nicely done, waterproof. And the reason I made it harder for myself is that I thought, as we're on it anyway, why not add the light wires as well, because we don't have light in this room yet. So now we have the pump wire, the light wire, positive and negative, going through this waterproof entrance, connected to the bus bar, ready to finally be tested. Yes, my dad is off to press the switch of the pump. I'm staying here with you guys to check if the pump will make any noise. So first, manual. Budgie! Nice, so the connection is the same, was just like a double check to see if everything was fine. And now we're gonna do the auto one. Auto!
Auto!
As you can see, together with myself, everything is working and now is a lot neater. It's still not the final result. We still need to cover these, attach it all nicely around, but at least it's good to go. The wiring here was done just so we could have this little lady here. Look at that! I can turn it on without going down, so it's light before I go. Like, what if it's too dark and I cannot see where I'm stepping? Now I can with this button right here. We have light. Of course, the wire is still long over there, but because I'm too excited about something else, so I don't want to spend any more time with this light. I just wanted to know if it was working, but then I'm gonna make the wires correctly next time, because now you'll see what I'm talking about. One more thing I really want to do in this bow locker today. Ben tested the windlass manually, and now I want to test it electrically to see if our connection that we did a while ago will work with the windlass. Like, will it turn? That's what we'll find out now. Just for safety, the fuse there, the switch is off, so I'm gonna turn that on. And with that, we should be ready to go. Time of truth?
What's up and what's down?
That's what we're gonna find out. We don't know if we did it right.
Right in. That sounds powerful.
Should I go more?
Yeah. Hold it for like 5 seconds. Yeah, so up is up and down is down. Up is up. Down is down.
I agree, except the letters are upside down, so I'm just gonna cover these letters because this is naturally up and down, right? Anyway, how cool! Toca aqui, Oli! We know this remote works. Now, why not, as we're at this anyway, find out if the remote by the helm will work as well. Okay, ready?
Up. Down.
Tá apertando o Bilge. Sim, isso aí.
That was down! It not only works, but up is up and down is down. High five to that!
Nice.
Nice! Shall we wrap up this episode with this? Because, you know, huge victory. Like, huge victory! It's been a victory that we've been waiting to celebrate for the longest time. So I'm super happy with it, and I think we can say bye now. But it's not for long, because guess what? We're seeing you tomorrow. Bye, thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.